Tony Price. She actually helped put a face on the use of abusive restraints in our schools, just like Abby focused on a student. Tony's foster son, Cedric, actually died after his teacher forced him down and sat on him. And Tony, I was watching your testimony today and really just pulled at all of our heartstrings. And I appreciate you so much for just leaving that setting, coming in and talking to us, because it's an important issue to us and our team. And we want to push forward and talk about what's being done. But for you personally, tell me about Cedric. He was dealing with an eating disorder, right? And tell me what happened that day at school.
Well, evidently she had withheld his food because he wasn't cooperating by sitting in his chair, and she withheld it for quite a period of time, so he began to get hungry, and he decided he was going to go and find something to eat. And from my understanding, he left out of the room. They got him back into the room. He then stole some candy or something, that was said, and they tried to force him into a chair, and they restrained him in the chair, and he was moving in the chair, and that's when she restrained him on the floor.
Now, why did she choose to withhold food from him? Why was she seeing that as the proper punishment for what she said was disruptive behavior?
I don't know why she chose to withhold food from him, because I had already informed her that food was an issue with Cedric, and even told her some of the techniques that we had tried at our home. Like if he stole something, he had to pay it back out of his allowance, and there was a consequence. And that way it didn't trigger any behaviors of being deprived from food. Why she withheld food from him for such a long period of time, I have no idea.
So she knew that food was an issue with this child, trying to use it as some type of lesson or punishment. Why did she feel she had to restrain Cedric? What was he doing that she said she had to basically, you said she sat on him?
Well, she had, I don't know why she felt she had to restrain him even when he came back into the room, because doing a restraint, from my understanding, is that you don't restrain anyone unless they're harming themselves or harming others are in danger. He wasn't harming himself, and no one else was in danger. So why she chose to restrain him is still a question in my mind. The force that she used to restrain him was such a violent force, of course, because now he's lost his life. Yes, she did sit on him. From my understanding, she had straddled him. And from the autopsy report, it had stated that they hadn't seen anything like this except for in a car crash.
Oh, God, Tony. So were there any other students around? Was Cedric saying, "I can't breathe, please get off of me"?
There were other students in the room also with trauma issues, and he was saying, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." And she said, "If you can talk, you can breathe."
And then that was it?
And he stopped struggling, and he stopped talking.
What did the teacher say to you? Did you have a conversation with her
I had no conversation with her after this. Prior to all of this, she did call me on my job and told me that Cedric was not breathing, and they had called the ambulance, and I left my job and rushed up to the school. So prior to that, she tried to call. I wouldn't take her calls. My husband did speak with her, and she told him all she was doing was her job.
Did she ever apologize?
No apology, and even in saying all that she was doing was her job, with no sympathy, no remorse, no compassion. All I'm doing is my job. How can you say that? You've taken a child's life, and all you have to say is all I'm doing was my job?
Is she still teaching?
From my understanding, she's teaching in Northern Virginia.
Did the school board in any way apologize? Was any action taken against the school board or her?
Not to my knowledge.
So you chose not to sue?
Well, because I am a foster parent, I could not sue. I asked questions and I looked into it, but because he was not my biological child.
So it sounds like not only did you feel that the teacher failed you, but it sounds like the system failed you. I mean, if you could have, I mean, is there anything in this situation that you wish you could have seen happen for the sake of other children? What would it be?
It would be that that teacher was not able to teach any children, and that something needs, should be put in place where teachers, if they have a background of any kind of abuse, that can be tracked. No child should have to go through any type of abuse. When these teachers, and you know, it makes it bad for good teachers, because you do have good teachers, even in the behavioral department, but it makes it bad for them. The teachers that abuse their power, and that's what they do, they abuse their power, and they take things beyond, and it takes it out of control. And for children to have to be in an environment that already have gone through some abuse and some trauma, to traumatize them even more in this situation is totally unnecessary, and something definitely needs to be done. And I believe it can be done through some kind of registry with teachers that have been accused of child abuse or have a record of mistreating children have to be put on a registry. And if you've done it and you've caused someone to lose their life, you should lose your teaching license.
Tell you what, Tony, you're a strong woman, and we appreciate what you did there in the hearings. We appreciate you talking to us, and I can tell you we're definitely going to continue to stay on this story and follow through and see what exactly is going to happen. Hopefully some legislative proposals to get some laws in place so teachers are not allowed to push things that far.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.